Welcome back to another edition of Components Breakdown. Today we're bringing you the brand new release game Gosu, which stands for Goblin Supremacy. Gosu is a 2 to 4 player fantasy driven card game that takes about 45 minutes to play. A lot of people are treating it like a deck building game, which it's really not. The developers describe it more of a mix between Magic the Gathering and Race for the Galaxy, which I see some correspondence and some correlation in there, but they're really not the same. So with that, let's open up the box top and first see what comes inside the game itself. The first thing people are going to notice about this game is the artwork, and it's absolutely stunning, and they've actually emphasized that on the box cover and the inside of the box itself. There's some really great artistic work done on the cards and everywhere within the game itself. Looking at the box itself, you see that there's artwork even on the insides of the box, which is really quite cool. The game ships with a 24-page rulebook. It's one of the best rulebooks that I've ever read. It's very self-explanatory from front to back. They give you a lot of examples, and this is a game that ships with quite a few keywords as well, but everything they have in here is done with an example showing you exactly how the game is played out from one turn to the next. Nothing is left for chance in this game. Everything is really well explained, which I tend to like. The game ships with 100 cards, and we'll get into those in just a moment. There is one advantage token. Now, all the tokens in the game come on a cardboard sheet that I've already punched out the chits for. This is the advantage token, and there are some other tokens that ship with the game as I open this box. It does not ship with the Plano box. There are victory point markers, and since it is a 4-player game, each player will have 2 of these activation tokens that they would be able to use. Now, they're all color coordinated for the different players. The last thing, as I mentioned earlier, was the inside of the box. It's got artwork on the inside, but there's no compartmentalization anywhere. Not a big deterrent because this is a really cool box, and I think it's really well done. So with that, let's lay out a 2-player game and show you how the game is played. So before we set up a game, we're going to show you the cards the game ships with. There's initially 100 cards in the game set, and those are broken down into 5 different factions. The factions are, the white ones are the ancient goblins, the green ones are the alpha goblins, the red ones are the fire goblins, the gray ones are the mecha goblins, and the black ones are the dark goblins. Within each of those factions, there's 3 different ranks, with the first rank being the bakudos, the second ranks being the heroes, and the third ranks being the zekis, which are the ozekis, which are like the generals. So as I said, there's 20 in each stack. There are 10 level 1s, of which there's 5 unique ones, so they double up on one of them. In the level 2 stack, as you notice, here is a level 1, and as we go down, here's a level 2. All the level 2s are unique within each of the different factions, and there's 7 different level 2s. And then the last ones are your level 3s, which are your generals, and they have the number 3 up here, and there's 3 unique ones for each of the different factions. So that's how the cards break down. Showing you a little bit more detail before we get into the actual gameplay. The levels are here, the factions are up here, the names are here, the point values that they're worth within the final battles that you'll be fighting against your opponent are here. Some of them have mutation values, which are located right there, and of course all of them have specific text that when they enter play or they do specific actions when you activate them. So that's how the cards are broken down. Let's go ahead and set up a 2-player game now and show you just the basic mechanics and how the game works. So the overriding objective of the game is the first person to score 3 victory points, which are represented by these small tokens. Scoring victory points can be done in a couple of different ways. The first is at the end of every round you have a battle with your tableau of creatures against your opponent's tableau of creatures. The person to win that earns a victory point. You can also win victory points through specific cards, texts that get activated. And the last way is some of the generals can actually end the game early by their specific text if they get activated at a specific time. So those are the 3 different ways to win the game. What you see here in front of you is the tableau, and I'm going to explain this as best I can. You will have a grid in front of you of 5 different columns. They're 3 high. The first column consists of just level 1, or the bakudos creatures, Bakudo creatures that you have. Level 2 are your heroes, and level 3 are your generals. You can never have more than 15 total goblins in play at one time. Now, the trick is, since there's 5 different factions, you have to balance between which factions you'll be using. You initially draw 7 cards in the game, at the beginning of the game, and you never really draw cards at the end of each round to refill your hand. The only way you can refill your hand is by using your activation tokens, which you have 2 per round. You can discard 1 to draw 1 card, or discard 2 to draw 3 cards. Some allow you to place activation tokens on specific characters to draw cards. So using these is a very valuable asset to the game. But how the actual goblins come into play is the really neat thing about the game. As I said, there's 5 different factions. For you to play a faction, you have to already have that specific faction above you, for instance, or below you. For instance, right now I have just white goblins on here. I'm just showing you this because of the basic layout of the game and what it looks like. But for you to play a fire goblin in here, if none of these other cards existed, the first card you play in your tableau is free. For you to play a fire goblin who's level 1, you have to actually discard 2 cards from your hand. If you play another level 1 white goblin instead, that card would be free. And every time you introduce a new faction to your bottom row, you have to discard 2 cards as the payment to be able to play that specific faction. The trick is, to play your heroes, which are your level 2 goblins, you have to have something from that faction below. For instance, you can't play a green goblin up here unless you have a green goblin in your level 1. The other trick is you can never have more heroes than you do level 1 goblins, and you can never have more generals than you do level 2, and so forth. And to play generals, you actually have to have a level 1 and a level 2 of that faction. So as you can see, you're going to be trying to determine which creatures you want to play. Now there's some synergy between all the different factions. So if you want to go all white, you're trying to find those cards within the deck to be able to play all white. The trick is you're not going to have all those cards at the same time, so you're going to want to introduce some new factions. But to play the level 2, you have to have the level 1. And to play the level 3, you're going to have a level 1 and a level 2. So the game becomes really complex when you're trying to figure out which cards do I need to use, which cards do I need to discard, and so forth. The game plays really fast. It takes about 35-45 minutes, maybe an hour for your first time playing the game. The artwork on it, though, is one of the really high points for me. I think this is some of the best artwork I've ever seen in a card game. It's really fantastic. The artists have done a really good job capturing this universe that they created. It's really beautiful, and I would suggest anybody to go online and look at some of these. There's some really good pictures on the Geek of some of the artwork on this game. It's really fantastic. The overall design, not only the drawings here, but the design of the cards themselves is really beautiful. The cards are flimsy, which needs to be noted. You're going to have to sleeve these if you want to keep these for a long period of time. But for people like myself who sleeve primarily 99% of their games anyway, this is not going to be a problem. So what do I think of Gosu? I like it. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I purchased it. And I think it's a good mix between deck building and kind of the Magic the Gathering theme that you get from those CCG lines. So I would highly suggest Gosu, and when it comes out in late September, early October, I would suggest going out and getting it. Thanks again for watching.